and welcome to the Sailing My Magic channel. My name is Duke and I am solo sailing Magic, my 2015 Lagoon Catamaran, around the world. It's been a long time since I made a video. After I had my repairs completed in Fiji, I went back to New Zealand in order to sit out another cyclone season and did some other upgrades there. Here you see the floor. It was originally that scuffed up gray. The new flooring is a waterproof oak finish. I decided to check out from Opua, which is convenient because both Russell and Paihia have fuel and groceries. As I was passing by, I noticed this triangular rock formation does now have a Maori name instead of nine pin, which is what it used to be called. And that seems kind of a problem because in the Maori language, the adjectives go first and you get very many of the same thing in the same area, like along the coast. Whanga means harbor. So Whangarei, Queen's Harbor, Whangaroa, Quiet Harbor. It's confusing. Only 3% of the population speaks Maori. This is a cruiser's parking lot from New Year's Eve. And then we come upon this formation called Duke's Nose. So my name is Duke. I thought that was interesting. Started out with no wind. Now at least I've got a little bit to sail by and get the sails up. This was the sunset as I was leaving New Zealand. And then when it was dark out, I started getting this boat following me. At first it was going the opposite direction, and then it turned and started following me fairly close. I was beginning to worry about that quite a bit. It was marked as a fishing boat, but most pirates are fishing boats. So I was keeping an eye on them, and then suddenly I decided that I was going to do something about it, and I turned into a storm and turned off my lights and my AIS, changed course, and they lost me. So I was safe. The weather forecast is for basically no wind for the first 2 days. That'll make it smooth sailing on the water because there won't be waves pushed by the wind, but I'm going to have to motor sail for the first 48 hours. I'm still surrounded by the storm clouds, but I'm still shooting this gap for this little blue spot up ahead of me. From there, it was a succession of sunrises and sunsets. Dawn of the third day. Storm clouds make for a very pretty sunrise. That storm over here on the starboard side is finally breaking up. A golden sunset caught at exactly the right time. There's an old joke among sailors that if you want to get somewhere, you don't sail to where you want to go, you aim somewhere else entirely, and you get where you want to go eventually. Well, I'm about 5 days into this sailing up to Vanuatu, and the wind has shifted around, so I cannot sail directly there as I was before. So now I'm aiming elsewhere, and I will get where I want to go, but it's just going to take me a little more distance and a little longer to get there. Another sunrise, but those aren't storm clouds or rain clouds. Those are just ordinary morning clouds. Sunset on day number 10. That'll bring me in on a Sunday, which I didn't want to do because you get charged overtime by the clerks at Customs and Immigration. Maybe I can come in and just not report in until Monday. But at least it's a beautiful sunset. I made good time here. It'll be tomorrow I'll get there to Efada Island in Vanuatu. Here I am pulling into Mele Bay in Vanuatu. It's interesting, there's another small bay, that's the Port Vila Bay, attached to this bay. Interesting also, they get a double high tide here. Port Vila is the capital of Vanuatu. When you get into Port Vila Bay, there's a yellow buoy there that is the Q buoy. So you're supposed to stay there until you're checked in. In my case, the Customs and Immigration came out to the boat, so we did everything on my boat. And then you have to go into the Yachting World Marina in order to pay your fees if you don't have local money, because it's got to be paid in local money, Batu. So I did that, and When you leave the marina on the street there, if you turn left, there's a Forex money exchange place, as well as an ATM machine. And if you turn right and go way up the hill, there's a supermarket which has several ATM machines there. Here's where the Pandemonium comes in. After World War II, this was jointly administered by the British and the French. And the countries called this a condominium for joint ownership. However, they had both French laws and English laws going on at the same time, and that's why the locals called it a pandemonium. The U.S. had two important naval bases in Vanuatu during World War II. They had Espiritu Santo and Efate, which had planes and submarines and boats and PT boats. If you remember Pappy Boington from the TV show Baba Black Sheep, he was here, and that the Squadron was here. He ended up shooting down, there's the Squadron, shooting down 28 airplanes and winning the Medal of Honor. You only needed to shoot down 5 to be an ace. And it was the huge air bases here. They're kind of sort of still here in a way. The bomber runways and buildings from World War II are the modern airports there. There's the original Enterprise aircraft carrier. Of course, it's much different now. And they even had a floating dry dock here. On the north side of the Fade sits the Blue Gold wreck. This is a 320-ton steel-hulled super yacht that was driven up onto the reefs during Cyclone Pam. Now, Cyclone Pam hit in 2015, and it was one of the biggest, most destructive cyclones that they've been hit by. They say that the Blue Gold yacht is still dry inside. I know there's a couple of patches on it. I don't know how dry it is. Looking through the window, it does look like it's a little bit worse for wear than what they admit to. There's a fella named Derek in the village here who is claiming to be salvaging it, and he's trying to get a trench dug to get the keel down so they can float it out, but in 15 years it hasn't gotten too far. Scraping it out with the bucket into coral and rock is not going to get it done, I don't think. But anyway, it's interesting to see the wreck there. The sails themselves are in tatters. I don't know what they were like. They probably came unrolled during the cyclone. Now remember, a cyclone is just a hurricane that spins in the opposite direction. So there was a lot of wind here. 3 big waves were driven by the wind and drove the boat up onto the rocks in the reef, and there it's been sitting ever since. But I like to see and explore old wrecks when I can. This one is certainly interesting in that it's more complete, and it was a luxurious boat in its day. Please like and subscribe to help the channel grow. I know it's been a little while since I made a video. I will try very hard to keep up with them now. And now it's time for that Sailor's Delight, the Sundowner. Have a great time.